Hi there. I'll bet you're looking for these two, Kelly and Jessica. Well, it's New Year's Eve, and they're off. And sports is taking over because we want to answer the question,
who is number one?
who is number one? Is it Bobby Bowden's powerful Florida State Seminoles with their high-flying Heisman Trophy-winning quarterback Charlie Ward? Is it Tom Osborne's Nebraska Cornhuskers, unbeaten but a big underdog to the Noles in the Orange Bowl? Don Nealon's West Virginia Mountaineers say they could be number one. They're unbeaten just like Nebraska. Lou Holtz's Fighting Irish says, why not us? We're the only team this year to beat the powerful Seminoles so far. And Terry Bowden says, don't forget my Auburn Tigers. We too are unbeaten. Just one problem we have, probation. Hello, everybody. Well, yes, indeed. It is New Year's Eve. We are one day away, actually just a few hours away from ringing in the new year, and one day away from settling the big question in college football. And here it is. Who is number one? That is the big question in college football, and we may have the answer tomorrow night. We are live at Florida State's Orange Bowl headquarters, the Airport Hilton. It's kind of quiet here because lots of Noles fans went over to the Orange Bowl parade. Tomorrow, of course, the Noles hope to establish that they should be national champs by whipping unbeaten underdog Nebraska, Mr. Irving Fryer, in the Orange Bowl. But should the Noles stumble, then Nebraska could be number one, or it could be West Virginia. It could be Notre Dame. They could stake a claim for the top spot. In the next half hour, we will debate this raging question about who is number one, plus Bobby Bowden. Irving Fryer is here. He'll join us live. And also Jay Heiler will join us live from Arizona. He is hanging out with the Canes, who for a change are not number one. So let's kick it off first with a look at all the contenders for the crown.
If we win this game, then there's no doubt we should be number one in the country.
Nebraska has reason to make such a claim. After all, they're unbeaten Big 8 champs, ranked number one in the coaches and Bowl Coalition polls. But if they're so good, why are they expected to get trounced by once-beaten FSU? The Noles, with the Heisman Trophy winner, the coach everybody loves, and a number one AP ranking, also make a strong claim.
If Miami wins its game and FSU beats Nebraska, FSU will end up beating 4 teams with 10 wins. And I'm not sure anybody has ever done that.
But wait, what about West Virginia? Nobody's beaten them. The Mountaineers feel shunned about being ranked third and shut out of a showdown with Nebraska. But other than wins over Miami and Boston College, the Mountaineer schedule had mostly hills. Which brings us to Notre Dame. The Irish certainly had a wicked schedule. Sure, they lost once at home, but since they beat Florida State, why shouldn't Notre Dame be ranked ahead of FSU if both win on Bowl Day?
I think that if you want to look at it week in and week out, we played as well as any football team I've had as a total team. But we're not a great football team, but we have played some great football.
Ironically, the best team might not even be playing. Unbeaten Auburn has the record and the tough schedule to back it up. The Tigers even have a coach named Bowden. Only one problem, they're on probation.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's always going to be a debate no matter what happens.
Probably true, Coach, but in the minds of the two teams meeting in the Orange Bowl, this game is winner take all.
If we come out and win this game, I think it will say who's number one. If Florida State wins, it's still kind of a toss-up because, Notre Dame beat them, so I don't know how they can be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. But if we win this game, it's no doubt who the champion is.
We hope to go out and play so well that, it doesn't have to come to a coach championship. That's what we get, that's what we'll take, but hopefully we don't have to.
Well, there you see, the Seminole fans are here at the Airport Hilton. They are convinced that they'll be chopping a lot tomorrow, that the Noles will indeed live up to their top billing. The Noles, huge 17-point favorites in this showdown at the OB with Nebraska. And let FSU coach Bobby Bowden tell it, that is not necessarily a good thing. I sat down with the affable head Seminole yesterday, and among other things, we talked about the big burden of being expected to win big. Oddsmakers did not do you a favor here, did they?
No, they really don't. That is tough. Of course, first place, we've never been in the final game of the season where all the stakes are out there on the table. Second place, it's like telling the other team, y'all ain't got a chance to beat Florida State. You know, that just fires them up. That makes a team out of them. You know, they're on a crusade.
The voters, though, who will ultimately decide this national championship might say, if FSU doesn't clobber Nebraska, the Noles weren't sharp, and maybe they would take a second look at
well, that's true.
their voting.
That's true. To me, there's still 4 teams that can win this doggone thing, you know. But we will not go out there with the idea that, and I won't do it because of a defensive mechanism. I won't go out there and tell my team, hey, man, we got to win big. We got to win big. Now, what you'll do, you start pressing. You start pressing. You go out there and your kids, hey, man, we got to win big. And first thing you know, you're down 7-0. Well, that big gets bigger, and you start pressing more. I won't do that.
We're in the locker room. It's right before kickoff, Coach. All the players are on one knee, because I know that's what you do. You pray a lot. What are you going to say right before you go out on that field? 80,000 people there in the Orange Bowl.
I would tell my football players to go out there, be loose as a goose, have a good time, and play as hard as you can play.
But, Coach, we want to win it for you.
I don't bet. It's not to say y'all lying. I say y'all lying. Y'all want to win it for y'all. With all the things people have said about Nebraska against Florida State, oh, Nebraska doesn't have a chance. Oh, Florida State will just beat, oh, they don't deserve to be there with Florida State. Now, if you don't have the right attitude, you start believing all that stuff, and Nebraska will kick you clean out of the stadium. So it does get back down to your attitude.
So the lesson here is humility for Florida State.
Yes, sirree, man. It most certainly is.
You still love this?
Oh, I love it. I sure do, yeah. If I lose my love, I get out of it. But no, I love it.
How much longer are you going to do it?
I'm going to do it as long as my health holds up, because we don't have a mandatory retirement in Florida, despite what my son says when he's out recruiting. Daddy's going to retire at 65. You know, the reason I don't want to retire, because after you retire, the next major event is death. And I'm going to stall that as long as I can.
Well, I know a lot of people in South Florida, believe it or not, will be rooting for you. A lot of folks here certainly want the national championship, if it can't be at UM, to remain in the state.
I'll be honest with you, I've been that way all along. I've voted Miami at tops every year. Now, we have to play them. We're one of the few people that's willing to play the University of Miami. But if we can't win it, I like for it to stay at home. I like for it to stay at home. If we can't win it, Miami, I would want to see win it. If Miami and us can't win it, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind Florida winning it.
Wouldn't mind?
No, wouldn't mind. That's a little bit tougher.
That rivalry runs a little bit deeper. The one and only Bobby Bowden. Okay, when we come back, we'll further deal with the question of who is #1 with the other side. Nebraska, Mr. Irving Fryer, a big alum. Of course, we know what you think the answer to that question is.
You know what I think. It's
Hey, man, you can't be marking up our stuff like this.
Well, you
Wait
can't
a minute.
Nebraska.
We'll be back to talk about the Huskers in a minute.
Nebraska. Right there.